So guys, welcome back to RBR, and behind me is sitting one of the most desirable 911s that you can buy today. It is of course the Targa GTS, so it means a bit more sporting ability, all of that daily ability that you love from GTS, and the gorgeous retro looks of the Targa roof as well. It's a hell of a package. I'm going to show you every single detail. There are a few unique bits on the Targa, show you all the details that come with GTS as well. Then we'll take it out on a first drive and see what this is like. It could be the most desirable 911 in the range. So let's check it out right now, the brand new 992 Targa GTS. Right guys, before we start, you join us here at the new Porsche Experience Centre in Franciacorta. There's a cab behind us, and I want to talk a little bit about today's sponsor, who are in fact quite key for our video today, because they're the cameras that we're going to be using inside the car. And this is Insta360, and I'm going to be showing you two different models that we're using here. One for inside car footage and something quite special on the outside. Now here, I'm not doing my best Doc Emmett Brown impression. We're not going to hit 88 miles per hour because this car can hit 88 before Doc can even say, "Great Scott." But what we have here at the top is actually a really clever 360-degree camera, as you can see here. But this camera is special because it's all modular. Here I have that camera module, and I can swap that out within the same camera, mind you, and put on a Leica lens instead, or replace the battery for larger batteries. Really clever. You'll get to see the effect of this on our driving shots and our in-car shots later in the video. So guys, support our sponsors, check out the offer below with Insta360, and now let's get back to the GTS. So guys, here it is, brand new Targa GTS in a really classy spec. You guys know I'm a big fan of silver cars, and on the 992 I think it works really, really well, especially with those retro throwbacks. Simple things like the cuts on the bonnet that match 993 G model, etc. Looks brilliant, and I think with the sports design package that comes standard on GTS, it also works really, really well. So let's first talk about some things that make the GTS unique versus, say, the standard Carrera S, and then we will go for a drive. So let's first talk about some of the things that make the GTS unique versus Carrera S, and then we'll go off for a drive. First of all, as I said, you get the sports design package, which you can see pretty clearly here on the front. Difference with GTS, however, you'll notice that it's actually black, so this sets it apart from Carrera S. Not a massive change really, is it? But then it's just the small things that set GTS apart. As we saw on our other spec car, you had the center locking wheels, which are a much bigger giveaway for GTS. On this, we have the second option that's available, which are the Y-spoke multi-spokes, which actually look really good as well. They're finished in a nice satin black, which look great. Then you can get the center locks, which will give it a bit more GTS typical character. Of course, you've got the GTS livery there on the side. On Targa, much more interesting, is on our retro roll bar, which is finished in a beautiful black anodized finish. This was a nightmare for them to get right, but they've done a really good job in 992. This, of course, standard finish on the Targa. Then again, on the back, you've got your sports design rear bumper. The number plate sits higher to allow for more aerodynamic flow through the diffuser there. And then you've got your sports exhaust pipes. More black trim at the bottom. You can get gloss black, as I showed you in our coupe review. You can see the simple black plastic finish. And again, this is unique to GTS. See again, our badge as well. Targa 4, GTS, Targa, GTS only available as all-wheel drive. Now, let's talk about the Targa roof. Show you this one more time. Now, Targa roof operation. Always fun to watch this. So many different working parts within the roof. Of course, you can do it with the key. And it's a lovely retro design. Works pretty quick. That is fun to watch. It's quite the talking point on Targa. So much better than what we had in 997. 991 generation, and now 992, bringing back some of that retro flair that made the Targa so special, and genuinely nothing like it in the market now, and just gives the car such a unique silhouette. And then of course you can also see within the interior from the outside as well. Got PDK version today, perfect for a more daily focused car. Let's check it out. So guys, here we go. Targa GTS out here in Verona in Italy. Weather's not the best today, but the roads are quite fantastic. And as you can hear, the car as well. I think the first issue that I had in my head about 992 GTS is, unlike the previous generations, is it going to be kind of muted, especially in comparison to Carrera S? Because there's only so far you can go with noise regulations, the OPF, etc. on making cars sound more exciting, but as you can hear with GTS, to be honest, I mean, it sounds perhaps even more characterful than my turbo was. It sounds lovely. Get some nice pops and bangs. I'm in sport mode, of course, at the moment. So that first element of that emotional connection you get in terms of a slightly more emotional exhaust system exists within our GTS, so I'm thrilled about that. Is it as loud as our lightweight package coupe? I don't think it is. Obviously you've got more sound deadening removed in that, so it does make a difference. But by no means any slouch when it comes to some nice aggressive exhaust sound. I'm really liking this. This is a big factor for someone like me. You need to have good exhaust noise without having to drive like a lunatic. Some lovely pops and bangs. You can evoke some nice sound out of this. So, sound, big tick box. Let's talk about the rest now. Targa GTS only comes in 4, as we said, so all-wheel drive. Makes sense, I think, for Targa being the most daily of the bunch. And to be honest, like we found when we originally drove it, doesn't hinder the dynamics as much as one might think it would. Often steering gets a bit more numb in these all-wheel drive systems. That's really not the case here with the Targa 4. Got wonderful steering feel. Yeah, it's not as nimble as our coupe, but honestly, you'd have to take it back out on track to really see the difference between the two, doing this kind of stuff on some gorgeous Italian roads. Of course, we have the chassis from our 911 Turbo, which helps with more rigidity. You've got those helper springs on our rear springs as well, helping with spring travel, all of it building up to essentially a more rigid car. And really what that means is a lot more handling fun in the GTS. Now, I love the Targa. As you know, we drove already the normal one, we drove the Targa Heritage, which stands out as one of my favourite 911 test drives. This takes it just a bit higher, just a more dynamic and overall engaging experience. You feel that bit more rigidity, particularly in our steering. Steering that little bit more precise, the chassis that little bit more rigid. The extra power bump helps close the gap with turbo a little bit, but really it feels quite similar to Carrera S on these kind of roads. But then I thought Carrera doesn't feel slow either. I think that's just a testament to how great this engine is. What I'm enjoying about GTS more than the power aspect is that extra bit of rigidity that was lacking in your standard Targa. Whereas you drive your standard Carrera 2S or 4S, you don't really come out of it thinking that you need a bit more extra dynamism. I think for Targa, GTS is quite compelling because that is a car that sometimes feels its weight a little bit more than the others. So to have a car that's a bit more sportive, I think Targa benefits a lot from the GTS formula. Of course, we have PDK here, which I think suits the nature of Targa so well. Just a very pleasing motorsport experience and shifting. It's amazing how Porsche have been able to get an engine like this to sound so good in the modern days. A lot of you guys are always saying how you're depressed about regulations ruining cars, and I always say it's down to the manufacturer you're talking about, because some of them are killing it. Porsche, for me at the moment, number one from what I've experienced in this regard, really, really working within the rules to create some super exciting cars. I love the styling of the Targa, both outside, inside. I appreciate the GTS bits because I'm a fan of sportier interiors. Your Napa leather, your race techs, etc. All those standard elements of GTS. And I think it all works really well with this sportier Targa look with the black roll bar and all your black accents from GTS on the outside. It's a classy look in potentially the classiest looking 911. The other side of the character to Targa is how comfortable it is as a daily driver. It is a little bit heavier than the other cars, but because of that, I think the suspension rides a little bit better for your daily activities. GTS, despite being more rigid, doesn't take away from any of that, which is lovely. This is the type of car that will be such a good daily. It's hard to kind of... The only thing I think that lets GTS down in Targa is the slightly more angular rear seats. So even if you have kids in the back, because they're angled a little bit forward, they're just not as comfortable as what you'd find in coupe, etc. But in terms of suspension compliance, road noise, tyre noise, etc., if you want to just daily the Targa GTS, it works as well as your standard Targa. I think the only question that remains for me when it comes to Targa is, do you go for Targa or do you go for Cabriolet? Because Cab GTS also looking a really exciting car, and I plan to test that. I think we'll probably do that in the UK because the weather here, it's not really great for top-down driving. Other than that, this is such an impressive package. Whereas I'd happily argue that Carrera S, or even Carrera to be honest, doesn't need the extra dynamism. When you come out of Targa, you do feel yourself wanting a bit more. And Targa GTS delivers in that, both with power, a bit more rigidity, a bit more special feeling in terms of exhaust, a bit more sportiness in terms of the look, and all in all you wind up with what is a really, really desirable 911. What a car. And to think, this is your Targa, which is, you know, your least dynamic 911, and you're able to have so much fun with it on these type of roads. Love it. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this first drive of Targa GTS in beautiful Italy. If you have, please do like and subscribe to RBR more than anything. So sadly, I've got the tough job of going through loads of twisty mountain roads before I can hand this car back to Porsche. I'm allowed to be a smug shit sometimes. Take care guys, and I'll see you next time on RBR. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that full review of the GTS and the new camera angles, thanks to Insta360. I especially like the 360 one, so I think you're going to see that in a lot of reviews in the future. Again, check out the link at the bottom. It's a really impressive modular camera system. And of course, like and subscribe to RBR. See you guys next time.